Big news in the digital piano world, major announcement from Yamaha. Today we're going to be talking about upgrades in the new CLP-700 series digital pianos. Hi, Ted Barcelou with Alamo Music Center in beautiful downtown San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channels, sign up for notifications, like our videos, and leave us comments. We love to interact with you guys and love to hear your feedback. Today, Ted, I'm really excited. Yamaha has made a big announcement, as you said, the CLP-700 series. So the Clavinova line has been around longer than I have. You've been playing piano for a very long time. I'd love to hear your interpretation of what the Clavinova series has been. And then we'll go right into the upgrades from the 600 series and look at what's coming new for these 700s.
In the early days, the Clavinova was like a great secret thing for serious pianists to have, because you could put on a pair of headphones and practice acoustic piano 24 hours a day. That was the one thing that I absolutely loved. That was a little over 32 years ago. They had the first Clavinova predecessor was the old YP40 from Yamaha, and after that they announced the Clavinova line. I actually went out. I did not work at a music store. I went out and bought the very first Clavinova that came out. I think it was the CLP. Midline was like the 150 model, and it had 3 different grand piano voices on it, and that's about all that it had.
That's very cool. I think the spirit of the CLP still is alive today. It's one of the most popular digital pianos out there. In the 600 series, we've done videos on those in the past. Just an amazing series. It's been around for almost 5 years now. Just great piano sounds. They introduced the Bosendorfer sample. They had the binaural sampling on the Clavinovas. But I mean, the big takeaways for me were on the 685. There was that grand touch, which was an amazing feel. I was really happy to see that is going to actually continue into the 700 series. On the 785, we're going to still see that grand touch. The longest key, I think, on digital pianos that's around. So it feels like you're moving towards that
real piano.
Yeah, the grand piano. The longer the key, the more control you have over it. But just an amazing series over the last couple of years. What were some of the highlights that you liked from the 600 series?
Well, I absolutely fell in love with the 685. That piano to me played and sounded just wonderfully. And we had so many of our classical teachers, and even the ones from the university, a lot of our college professors could just not believe how great the thing played and sounded. They thought it was the best playing sounding upright they had ever played in their life. And a couple of them actually bought them and put them in their offices instead of real pianos.
Yeah,
it was kind of amazing.
They had amazing response from the community, and was bestsellers around the country. It was really cool. I really appreciate what Yamaha has done here, and they've noted that they made such amazing advancements in that 600 series. A lot of it is getting carried through the 700 series. It seems like they've polished up a few things, and they're aiming towards the future and saying, hey, this Grand Touch was such a success. We're going to introduce the Grand Touch S on the lower models. So on the 735, the 745, you're getting the Grand Touch S feel. Kind of mimicking after that Grand Touch is what we understand. And so we're really excited to get our hands on it, to play it. But they've also done things. The virtual resonance modeling was a big thing for Yamaha years back, but it really kind of incorporating that full sound of a grand piano, and they've actually expanded on that. So we're real excited to check that out. But the VRM, what would you say about that virtual resonance modeling?
Well, the nice thing about the virtual resonance modeling is it allows you to give an overall sound to the string section on the piano, and it allows you certain amounts of control over how many of the resonating notes that are octaves up or below actually sound with the ones that you're playing. And it has a lot to do with the pedaling as well. But on this 700 series of CLPs, if you could describe it in a nutshell, I'd say that it looks like they have taken the whole concept of the acoustic piano, the grand pianos, and have actually reinforced it with all brand new samples, and put a lot more ability to go in and change those samples for each individual player.
Yeah, and so what they've done, like you just said, they've resampled the Bosendorfer and the CFX, which are at the heart of this line. Are those like you said, at the very beginning of the CLP, it was to bring acoustic pianos to the home with headphones on to practice for the person who's maybe in an apartment, who maybe has early working hours or late working hours, and they need a different schedule with that instrument. And so what they've done is that binaural sample that was very popular on the CFX and the 600 series. They've expanded that. They've moved it to the Bosendorfer. They've done a new one on the CFX as well. And so those are going to be huge advancements in this 700. And then also moving on from the VRM, the virtual resonance modeling, they have the Real Piano Expression 2 now. And so the Real Piano Expression 2, we read about it. What were your initial takeaways on that?
The things that I liked about it initially were the pedaling, and they do make a lot of the damper resonance and how you can actually change the tone on the piano as you're playing it, like you can on a regular acoustic piano, because how many ways are there to play a note on an acoustic piano? They're unlimited.
Yeah.
And so from a digital and a technological standpoint, that's something that they've been working on to perfect, to get it as close to an acoustic piano as possible for the player.
Yeah, they're trying to, even the most minute touches on a key will be expressive like a grand piano. Because when you're playing a grand piano, you have so much at work. And the smallest note played, the accidentals, everything, it comes to life differently than any MIDI keyboard, differently than any digital piano before. So what they've done with this, the real Grand Expression 2, is they've really expanded that, and you're getting minute feelings and things like this, where it's gonna really expand what that digital piano sounds like. It's gonna be more like an acoustic piano. So on top of the Real Grand Expression 2, they've introduced something really cool here. Ted?
It's a Grand Expression modeling.
Yeah, and so what that is it's every hammer noise, every string noise, anything that can make it sound and feel.
The let off.
The let off. All these little small things that on an acoustic instrument, on an acoustic instrument, it's giving you all those things. You hear it, you feel it. The new 700 series is taking that, putting it in a modeling form, and giving it to you, the player, at your home, at your apartment, in your music studio. Just really kind of taking it to the next level to feel less like a digital piano and even more like an acoustic instrument.
That's the whole idea.
One of the coolest things I know that you're most excited for is that Forte Piano.
That's something that's going to be really exciting to listen to, because they actually sampled from old Play-L, and they also used a Cristofori, and I think a Walter piano.
Yeah, so for those who aren't aware of what a Forte piano is, Yamaha is really excited to do this. They're going to have 2 on the lower models, 2 Forte voices. They're going to have 4 on the top of the line models. But the Forte, what is a Forte piano?
Forte piano was a predecessor to the grand piano as we know it now, but it did not have pedals. It was the only way to get a sustain on it was to hold the notes down. And there's a large catalog of piano literature that's specifically written for Forte pianos, and a lot of times you'll find graduate students or doctorate students along with professors that will give recitals on Forte pianos, and they usually make a pretty big deal out of it because they have to get an antique instrument in there and get it tuned and get it tempered right. The important thing to note is that Beethoven wrote most of his piano literature on a Forte piano. I believe he had a Broadwood, which Yamaha uses to sample.
Yeah, the Broadwood.
And the idea is that it's more technically difficult and strenuous for the player to have to sustain all of the notes by holding the keys down.
Okay.
On a piano, you can use a pedal and play it, and it keeps ringing. On a Forte piano, when you play it and you let off, that's it. It's silent. So you have to really practice. You have to really know the next measure that's coming so everything flows out fluid. And they've never really had a Forte piano sample, because part of it is going to have a little bit different sound, like the old Yamaha electric grand piano sound, because the hammers were not made out of wool or felt. They were made out of leather. Some of them were leather coated so that they could be louder and stand out. First pianos were like harpsichord clones, but instead of plucking the string, they put leather hammers on it so it hit it and you could hear it.
That's very cool. I'm excited to try these Forte pianos. I think it's a look into history. I think it's unique to say, hey, I have this digital piano in the year 2020, 2021, but I'm playing a piano from the 18th, 19th century. These samples. It's a look. It's really taking a step back and saying this instrument has been around for a long time, and people like Mozart, Beethoven, they wrote on these. They preferred these instruments as their choice, And
Right.
how cool is that Yamaha's brought that here? It's taken 30 years of digital piano technology, and no one's even thought of this. So one of the most exciting things, I think, as just like a token to history and to being able to kind of make that expression of what the composer initially wrote on. So something that we're just really excited for. Again, this was a big announcement by Yamaha. We're very excited to see these 700s. Unfortunately, due to COVID and due to manufacturing limits right now, we haven't seen a shipment of it yet, but we're very, very hopeful that we will in the next 30 to 60 days. And so at that time, we're going to be making demos of every 700 series piano that they're making. We're going to compare them against each other. Those are things to be looking out for. We're really excited. We're going to link those videos also under this video so that you guys have a chance to check those out. But we just wanted to touch on really the big differences between that 600 series that was so popular and this new 700 series that's coming out. Again, we're Alamo Music Center. Ted Barcelou, thanks for being here with us. I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. We have a whole page written up about the new 700 series. Yamaha has a couple manufacturer videos that's just playing. They have a couple samples on there right now, but we're going to be taking a bigger in-depth look when we do receive those. Thank you guys for watching. Again, please subscribe to our channel. Check out our other videos. Leave us some comments and let us know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching.